Okay, so you know that an ordered pair is x, y, okay? The other thing you need to know is that y can also be written as a function of x, all right? That is called function of x. And there are different expressions, different equations that you can set up and you call it a function. And so it's a function of what your, x is my independent value that I'm plugging in. So if you're given the value of x, and remember x is always what you plug in, so that's what goes inside, okay? X is the value that's inside, it's what you plug in, okay? So x, think of it, x is what you plug in, and then y is what you get out. This is what your answer is. Okay, it is your output, where what you plug in is your input. Okay, input, output. So remember, x is your independent, and y is your dependent. Okay, and we talked about in, independent input. That's your x. Okay, so let's say that you have f of x equals y. Because remember, f of x and y, those are the same thing. So f of x and y are the same thing. But what you plug in, what's inside the parentheses, okay, x is in the parentheses, that is the first ordered pair. What you get out, that is your y, that is your second coordinate in the ordered pair, right? So what you plug in is 3, and what you would get out would be 5. That is my ordered pair, 3, 5. So, okay, if I have, now what am I plugging in? I'm plugging in a 5. 5 is in your x spot, okay? So I'm going to put 5 here, and then what you get out, -2, is your y. Okay, look at the next one. What I'm plugging in is -8. Remember, what you plug in is your x coordinate, that is my independent value. What you get out is your y coordinate. Now you try these two, okay? Now let's look at a table. So f of 2 equals -6. Remember, f of 2, the 2 is what I'm plugging in. So I'm going to go to my x column, and I'm going to look for the number 2. Here's 2. Who does 2 go with? 2 matches up with a -6. So that's why that answer is -6. Okay, let's look at the next one. So I look at, and I'm going to clear this off. Let's say that my input value is a -5. So I go to my x column. Remember, my x column is my input. This is my independent. The other word for that is my domain. Okay? And I look for -5 and -5 in the x column. Look to see who it goes with in the y column, and it goes with 7. That's why it's a 7. The names for the y column are output and dependent and range. That's vocabulary we talked about yesterday. We've got to know it, okay? So let's look at some of these. Let's say that you have 1 is inside the parentheses. So I go to 1 in the x column. Who's it match up with? It matches up with a 4. Okay? And I'm going to let you try these two, because that's similar to what we did a while ago. But now look at the next column. Now this one is different. On the next column, and I'm going to clear this off. On the next column, I don't have the number in parentheses. This is what I'm looking for. Remember, that's your x. I want to know what x is. This is, the equal to is the y. Remember, f of x equals y. So it equals the y value. So these guys come from the y column. The y column is your range. So that is going to be this column right here. So I'm going to go backwards, okay? So let's say that we have 3. So on the y column, I go to 3. Well, who does 3 match up? It matches up with negative 8. So f of negative 8, the function of negative 8 is 3. All right, and then we have 7. So I look for 7 on the y column. I look it up, it goes with negative 5. So f of negative 5 equals 7. You try the next one. All right, now we have a mapping, okay? So on your mapping, and remember a mapping has 2 circles and the lines connect the ordered pairs, the numbers that go together. The first column is always your x column, which is our domain. The second one is always your y, which is your range. And the numbers will usually be in order from least to greatest in your mapping, okay? That's why the arrows don't always go straight across. So make sure that you look carefully. X is negative 1. So when x is negative 1, so I go to the negative 1 in the x column, he's connected to 2 from the y. So f of x equals 2. F of x is another name for y. So y equals 2. F of x equals 2. I'm going to let you, I'll rate you. We'll do this one and then I left 2 at the bottom for you to try. X equals 5. So when x equals 5, so I go to the x column, which is my domain, look at the 5, follow the arrow, and it goes to negative 3. So when x equals 5, f of x, or y, equals negative 3. Okay? So this is the y column. It's also called the f of x column. And those are just synonymous, function of x. This time, I'm given f of x equals negative 3. F of x is another name for y. So I go to the y column, and I look for negative 3. And I'm going to erase this. I'm just doing that so you can follow along. Negative 3 in the y column. Now I follow back that arrow, and it goes with 5. So x value would be 5. And there is another one. What if f of x equals 2? So I go to the 2. Uh-oh, it has 2 arrows. It has an arrow with negative 1, and it has an arrow going to 2. So you put both of them, negative 1 and 0. You're going to put both of them. And then I left 2 of them for you to finish. And that is relations written in function notation.